death, punishment.
betrayal, quest, and magical creatures.
What else can be more metal than this? So Bleeding Gods is a fairly new band which has been formed in 2012. This was formed by Ramon Plog after his departure from Howitzer. So with just one EP and one full-length album out, DODEKATHLON becomes their second full-length album and first under Nuclear Blast. And as you all know, anyone who sounds with Nuclear Blast, they mean business. Without getting too much into the mythology, Hercules was actually driven mad by Hera and he ended up killing his wife and children. So the 12 labors which were assigned to him were his punishments. These labors included him doing the menial jobs, fetching items, and battling mythological beasts. Each track on this particular album is written chronologically to advance Hercules during all of his 12 labors. And coming to the artwork, just have a look at this. That's honestly one of the most badass Hercules I've ever seen in my life. Let's just dive into it. First up on the album is Blood Guilt, and this is what it sounds like.
Determined to make my life a living hell, sending madness into my dreams. Turned the loved ones into the hated to be killed. Committed the most despicable horrors of the day.
That's just 20 seconds off of the first minute of the first song of the album. You know you're in for a treat when an album begins like this. And did you hear the vocal transition? That's just killer. Mark Huseman's mix of guttural vocals, raspy undertone in his voice, and these clear screams kind of bring about a brilliant mixture and a sinister tone to this particular album. They send chills down your spine whenever you listen to it. Through the course of the album, you come to know that there are a lot of things which are hidden in the tracks. There are unexpected solos, mind-boggling tempo changes, and these rhythm patterns which are just beautiful to hear out. I'm way too tempted to play all these sections out for you, but then if I do, I'll be robbing you guys of the experience that you guys are gonna get. So better make sure you guys go listen to this. Coming to the track From Feast to Beast, the first single what was released from Bleeding Gods, this has to be one of the most hauntingly beautiful songs which is there on this album. I'm going to be focusing on two segments of this particular song, and here's the first one. Could you hear that orchestral work at the back? That just sounds massive. And this is an element what is present almost throughout the album. It's not only the factor of trying to create an atmosphere, but then these small nuances help, transition from one song to another. And it's just done so brilliantly. Now on to the second clip from this song. These segments not only show off the craftsmanship of Plog and von Norenberg on the guitars, but also help show that Bleeding Gods is one of these bands which knows when to give you a bludgeoning wall of sound and when to kind of retract themselves and slow things down. Speaking of slowing things down, check this out. This shows off the classical background that each of these guitarists have, and it's just beautiful. There is no other words to describe about it. Now, it might seem a bit too cliche if I call the drummer Dan Kleeman a beast behind the kit. But then, that's all you can describe him by. Like, just listen to this. What I loved about his drumming was the factor that he has this strange mixture of melody, groove, and aggression. The sheer ferocity of his drumming just seems to go on and on and on. It's just an assault on all your senses. Coming to the bass, Gia Mulder kind of brings about this fluidity in her bass lines. It kind of helps keep the whole album together. And for me personally, this portion of Tripled Anger was just phenomenal. Near the tail end of the album, we come across the track, Hera's Orchard.
Therefore I was condemned to fulfill additional labors in the favor of King Eurystheus and my stepmother Hera. This would be by far the most endangered labors, far beyond the borders and traveled by mortal.
For me personally, this was one of the most heaviest songs which was present on this album. This might be due to the fact that it has a much more doomish approach to it all. It gives the listener a punch in the gut and makes sure you're going to be headbanging to this, whether you like it or not. Now, the album is roughly an hour long, and no matter how much I could nitpick, I couldn't find anything wrong with this album. It takes the audience on a journey of music and cinematography and leaves the listeners begging for more. Production on this album is just excellent, and it's pretty audible whenever you listen to it because the balance is just perfect. So the album was 2.5 years in the making, and this is 2.5 years well spent. They deliver an album which is conceptually brilliant and has a certain flow to it, which not a lot of conceptual albums have these days. The album translates every emotion what Hercules would have gone through during his labors and takes the listeners through this perfect journey without any jarring moments. If you love your music that sends an adrenaline rush through your body and at the same time is sophisticated and polished around the edges, then DODEKATHLON is the album for you. We rate this album a solid 9 out of 10. So for a much more in-depth analysis and track-by-track discussion, head on over to our WordPress website.
We are DODEKATHLON. Watch Tuggtv. Stay metal.
Stay metal.
Dressed in all the rings.
Oh my god, this is much better than what you imagined.